So, to begin, again, the purpose of today is to talk with you about how to plan to look for a job and kind of how to journey through the job hunt. And there's a lot of different dynamics there. I know it can be really frustrating, it can be really overwhelming, but honestly, I too have been through this process. I've been through the process of going through UI and unemployment. And sometimes, I don't want to sound hallmarkish, but sometimes these moments when we are out of our element, it can be a wonderful refresh. So let's stay positive and let's discuss how we can make your future better. So I'm going to skip this guy. Okay, so what we're going to be discussing today, we're going to jump into the career planning for the job hunt. So losing a job and how it affects us. We're going to discuss that. We're going to talk about how having a positive attitude, how it helps you to succeed with your job search. We're going to talk about developing a plan to help you to get to where you want to go and also to consider your options. The workforce is constantly changing and evolving, especially today compared to even 2 or 3 years ago. There's a lot of new dynamics out there. We're going to jump in and share that. And then also, we want to talk about how to get organized, how to set your goals, the importance of keeping records, like keeping notes about all of your activity, and just the stuff, the fun stuff that you find online in your different leads. And then we want to talk about why and where to search and kind of how to kind of gather all of your information. And then we're going to talk about your portfolio, how to put together your resumes, different job searching skills. And then I also want to share now on this slide, you see where it says the creative job search topics. So with Career Force, just like you signed up for today's class, there are other classes that you can sign up for, and those topics are these that are listed. So to be able to identify your skills, applications, portfolios, the job interview, that's a great class. The LinkedIn class, I highly recommend that. There's normally 3 different ones at a basic level and then an advanced. And then the job search over 50, that's super, super helpful as well. Okay, so let's talk about getting started. Okay, so for whatever reason, you're no longer employed, whether that was well, let's not get into that. There's a lot of dynamics of the way that people lose their jobs. And so we want to discuss how the dynamics are when you lose your job. I think if you have people like family and friends around you that have never gone through that, sometimes people will say, you lost a paycheck. And there's a lot more there to unpack than just the financial part. There's the routine of getting up every day and getting ready. Even if you work from home, there's a routine of structure. There's the different coworkers that you interact with every day. There's the different dynamics. There's the engagement. There's losing a job. It's not only financial, it's emotional, it's physiological, it's physical. The drain that it can be on you is pretty significant. And so you do have to allow yourself time to go through those emotions and to kind of grieve through that, but you don't want to camp out there. I think that's the key. So we want to jump into talking about how to get through that job loss and then but to be able to elevate yourself to go to the next place to do a refresh. And so it's so important to be able to have your game plan, to be able to have your goals, and to look at where had you worked in your previous job and your other positions, and then how can you maybe instead of maybe you do want to jump into something similar, but then how can you transfer those skills that you have into something that might make you happier in the future? You might make more money, have greater stability. So we'll talk about that as well. And then, so let's talk more about a job no more. So managing the stress of job loss. Um, So we had spoken, I mentioned about how it's there's several layers. There's not only the financial part, but there's a physiological, physical. It's just an emotional drain. It's really something that it impacts your self-esteem. It impacts your personal identity, your social life. And honestly, even if there's always dysfunction at every job. And even those coworkers that kind of remind you of the uncle you see every now and again, and you're okay to have that distance, you still kind of think about and miss that uncle, because the dynamics of having a job and having those people around us, it can be comforting. And so when that goes away, there's a tremendous amount of stress and loss that's felt. Some people have equated that to being divorced or having a separation or having the loss of a loved one, because that's your routine and your fellowship. So it's important to remember that your career, it's not the total representation of who you are. You're so much more than your job. And so when you transition from being employed to unemployed, it's hard, and any type of change is hard, but it's also an opportunity. So again, that sounds like a Hallmark message, but it's true. You were taken out of a situation where you didn't need to be. And so now we're going to jump into a refresh. So one of the biggest mistakes in job hunting is, and you've heard the anecdote from one or two sources, that something about job searches that in a job search and when you're applying for your entire job, what strategy do you need to have? You need to make sure that you are hearing that one or two employers. Oh, let me regroup this. When you're applying for jobs, it's important to know that the employers, a lot of times, the hiring managers, the recruiters, they are not physically, like several years ago, people would literally read. They would read your resume. Now there's AI that's going in, and they're capturing keywords, and those resumes are being passed on to hiring managers. So it's important to learn how to customize your resume for every single job that you apply for, because they say, I think it's maybe 3 to 5 seconds that each recruiter looks at a resume. So you need to have that ability to capture them. And then you need to have the ability to keep track of what you've been applying for. And then even to be able to step outside the box of the jobs that you've had in the past. And that's where we'll talk about transferring your skills. So going to discuss the roller coaster of emotions. So again, any type of a job loss, it absolutely takes you kind of from one extreme to the next, and you do have to allow yourself to journey through that. But again, remember, just don't camp out and stay there. Acknowledge it, and then take that energy to manifest positivity, to jump into something that's going to make you happier and have greater longevity. So this is a great tool for a lot of job seekers to see that there's all the different emotions, the ups and downs. It's completely normal. There isn't anything wrong with you. It's normal to grieve and go through. Even in one day, you can have dynamics where you feel excited and there's great job opportunities. You've applied for things, and then a few hours can pass and you could feel like, oh gosh, no one's responded. And then you have that dark moment where you doubt yourself and your worth, and are you ever going to get out of this? That is normal. But then I always tell people that, as if you're 5 years old, you got to talk to yourself, that internal dialogue, to stay positive, that when those negative thoughts come in, just to say to yourself, no, I'm not going to think like that. I am valuable. I have wonderful skills, wonderful qualities. I'm going to be successful, and to just block out the negative and just focus and move forward. And again, you don't have to be fake, and you don't have to put a bunch of uh, like dynamic energy out there that's not real to mask things. Let yourself walk through it or journey through it in whatever way that you would transport through, but manifest the goodness, and tell the negative to go away. Like you're 5 years old. I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to move forward. And we discipline and train our thoughts. Okay, so let's talk about the recovery of job loss. So again, you do want to recognize, acknowledge those feelings, and you want to find a safe outlet. Like what is a safe outlet? It's a way for you to find a way to deal with your feelings in a positive light. Sometimes people I know people that like to write or journal their thoughts just to help purge them. Some people like to exercise, and it doesn't have to be rigorous cardio going to the gym. You could just go for a walk. You could stretch inside the house. You could even just do some deep meditative breathing exercises, have fellowship with people around you, people that you know are supportive and safe and going to cheer you on. And then you do want to just forgive. Bad things happen, unfair things happen. But sometimes we needed to not be where we were. So, and then also you want to be able to accept the change, accept, okay, this is my today. I cannot, oh, I cannot correct anything that happened yesterday. I can change myself. I can have an awareness of myself, of how I'm interacting, what I'm projecting, how I'm receiving information and sending information, and you can be more aware of yourself. But the incident that occurred, the job loss, and whatever dynamic, just to be able to press forward. Okay, so let's say, how do you bounce back so that bouncing back can be hard? How do you get back to maybe not even your normal self? I heard a person say recently that the person that you were 2 jobs ago is not the person that you are today. And that's really true because we all evolve and we change and we grow and develop through our experiences. So that's something to consider because you wouldn't be the same person. Maybe that's why you weren't meant to be in that position anymore because you evolved past that environment. So it's a choice you make every day. And that's where I was going to mention the discipline part of our thoughts, because and as corny as it sounds, you wake up in the morning and you decide what you're going to wear and how you're going to present yourself with your clothing. That's kind of the same thing, what we can do with our attitude and our thoughts to discipline our mind, to block out the negative, to have goals, to be able to, even if something comes and it's a obstacle, to be able to say, hey, it is what it is. I couldn't go around the problem. I'll go through it. I'll go under it. There's always a way. There's always an exit strategy to get to where you want to be. So you can choose to feel, say, stronger, you feel stronger, or you can feel meeker, just kind of like you're withering away. You can be energized and ready to go, or you can really reflect in that demoralized, all these things happened to me that was bad, and let it consume you. Or you can be positive. I know there's something good for me out there. I know I can do this. I have skills. I am valuable. Or you can be negative and say, nobody really connects with me. I don't fit the dynamics. You want to choose the stronger, to be engaged and to be positive. It's all about the attitude. And nowadays, one of the key words that I hear a lot is to manifest. You just want to manifest the good thoughts. You want to manifest what's going to come to you. You want to speak it into existence and make it happen. So getting back into staying positive. So talking with others, the different relationships you have, and a big part of any type of change or any type of job loss, especially, sometimes even the people that you love, your family or friends, people that you're close with, they could have things to say that aren't so encouraging to you, or not understand, why aren't you getting a job faster, or why can't you just get a job? People work in different industries. There's different dynamics, and someone that hasn't worked in your industry or doesn't have your skill set, they're not going to understand where you're coming from. So keep that in mind. If someone in your life is being negative, they just don't understand, and it's okay for you to put up a boundary and say, oh, I'm walking a different journey. I'm going through a different place. So please don't put that negativity on me. I'm already feeling bad already because I'm in a place of transition. So you don't need to add to it. It's okay to put up a boundary. So think about the people that can support you. There are amazing. There are job clubs. If you've never been to a job club, I highly, highly recommend it. There are, and Sheila can put a link on for the different events that happen, just like you signed up for this event. There are job clubs both online, and then there's job clubs in person. I would also recommend Googling the like whatever community you live in, whatever city or part of the state, different types of meeting groups, professional meeting groups for not only your industry, but also just sometimes there's just random like hiring, recruiting events that you'll find, or the job club networking. I would highly, highly recommend doing that. And then, oh, and you should never have to give anyone money to join any of those. You should never have to give any money. So if anyone ever asks you for money or to participate, steer clear, because sometimes, unfortunately, society takes advantage of individuals that are in that in between, because they feel sometimes the desperation of where we are when we've lost a job. Exercise, again, that's whether you're able to go for a walk, or you're able to just get out and move around, or to stretch. That the breathing, the meditation, just some sort of movement, and counseling. There's wonderful outlets for counseling. If you are ever in a place of crisis, where you are in that dark moment and you can't recall that this is temporary, this is a temporary place for you, because something good is coming. If you're ever in a place of crisis and you don't have anyone to talk to, 988 is a wonderful, there's people there that'll be able to talk to you and help you in that moment, to be able to get you out of that dark space. So remember, right now where you are, it may not be ideal, but it is temporary. And you think about the things in your past that you've overcome, that's going to be another success story. You just have to keep going forward day by day. It will happen. And then again, that positive self-talk. And I say it all the time, like I'm 5 years old, I'm trying to be disciplined, and I tell myself, no, I'm not going to think those things. Or even when someone else says something that's negative, just to be able to block that out and say, no, I'm sticking with the path ahead, because I believe in myself, and I'm worth it. And then, oh, volunteering. Volunteering is so great, or even a part-time job. So when I went through the unemployment process, so I was really frustrated, obviously, and I needed to get out, because I was at home. It was just me, and so I thought, I'm going to get a job working 1 or 2 days a week. If you're on your UI, you do have to work less than 32 hours, and then you have to make less than what you receive each week, to be able to document that correctly. But I went and got a job locally, and it was fantastic. It was about 2 days a week. Sometimes it was one day. And it was so great for me, because it was the mental health. I was out, I was able to be engaging, I was able to help people. It was wonderful for people to come to me to ask for help. It kind of validated, okay, I do have some value. I can talk with people. Because when you lose a job, that doubt comes over. So it's so good for your mental health, and it kind of stretched out the unemployment. And to network, when I was working out, doing my part-time job, I met several recruiters from all over, and people that I just had great dynamics with, and they enjoyed my energy. And that was an organic way for me to be able to kind of search for a job. So, and volunteering, like if you wanted to, like hospitals are the best way. There's different companies where, if you want to get into healthcare, there's other industries where you might be able to volunteer, and that's kind of a test run for you to get to know how things flow there, and for them to get to know you. And it could manifest into a job, an opportunity. But more than anything, when you volunteer, you're going to see and have that fellowship with others, and it's going to make you feel good, not only because you're doing something for somebody else, but you're doing something for yourself, because you're getting outside the house, you're getting dressed, you're um, I'm just going to be raw and honest here. Sometimes when you're unemployed and you're out of that routine, you could just stay home and not take a shower for a couple of days. You know, you don't want to get into that at home on the couch greasy moment because you're in your pajamas, you've had the same pajamas on for 2 days. It helps to get up, to shower, to get out, to get dressed so that you feel cleansed, you feel whole again. Um, to degrease, so to speak. So let's talk about the game plan. How do you move forward? So these are some wonderful, wonderful websites. And also, remember, Sheila had said we're going to send you that email. It's normally within 24 hours with phenomenal resources. In fact, you'll open the email and you'll say, wow. And also, I do want to tell you, if you open that email and while you're trying to navigate through some of these different sites, if you don't feel you're able to really get the best out of them, because sometimes it can be a challenge to go through and click here to get to the the meat and the heart of the content, please feel free to contact your local career force. I think that Sheila could probably put that in the chat, the link for your local career force, and contact them and say, hey, could I set up a time to meet with somebody to talk about the different websites that I was provided? Or you can go on to the careerforcemn.com/events, and you could sign up for one of the one-on-one job searches and ask the person. They could send you a Teams link, and then they could share their screen and show you. It's wonderful. There are websites that can show you how to plug in, okay, this is the industry that you've been working in, and then it will show you other job titles and other options that you may not have ever considered. And this is really interesting. I will also share like the job titles that you used to that you knew, like for example, an accounting, like an account manager. Okay. When you hear account manager, most people think, okay, that's with maybe a bank, or it could be when something with sales. But nowadays, when you see account manager, it could be something totally different. It's not even anything that's affiliated with what you're used to. And in the same token, you could see a job title and you think, oh, that doesn't really fit me. That doesn't mirror my skill set. But if you read the job description, it could be fit you to a T, because there's just such a change with the vernacular and the jargons out there. So I highly encourage, there's the multiple sites, like on the CareerForce MN, there's you can go on and do assessments, and it may help open and broaden the scope of what you think that you could do. The Career Stop, the careeronestop.org is phenomenal. There's an area on there where you can put in what your current keywords are for your job, and then it brings up this whole list of other job titles you hadn't considered. And then when you click on those, then it takes you and shows you how prevalent it is, how common these positions are available in your region, and then what type of education you need, and then how to pursue those skills. So there's a wonderful rabbit hole of information. And again, when you get this email, if you are having a challenge navigating it, that's okay. Sometimes the best thing is to be able to ask for help. Then just reach out to either your local career force or go on and schedule a one-on-one job search, and then you guys can jump in and tackle that together. Okay, online tools. Let me see. Sheila, are you doing well? Do you need to have do you have questions, or are we doing okay so far?
We're doing okay so far, Jack. We're throwing all the links in the chat. So
okay. Okay, so please, thank you, Sheila. So if you have any questions, any thoughts that are job related, if you would like to just put something in the chat, we are thrilled to help you. So we're going to charge into the different online tools. So this is a new feature on CareerForce MN. It's right on the main toolbar. It says online tools. So it's one of those ways that it's easy to find all the wonderful online resources, like to take the assessments, to kind of learn about what your interests are, what your skills are. And something to note, while we would like for you to, well, actually for the UI account, you do have to, one of the check boxes for the qualifications is to create a Minnesota Works .NET account. But also, if you would create a careerforcemn.com account, if you were to do those assessments, having that account and being logged in is a way for you to save the results you receive from those tests. Otherwise, it just goes away. And it's so valuable. The websites they're state run. Your information is secure. In fact, there was, I think several years ago, there was an incident that caused the state to make the sites more secure, to protect not only the job seekers, but the employers. And we now have a team of people that are dedicated. It's our Career and Information Assistance Line, Career Force Information Assistance Line. We call them CIA. And that's actually the team that Sheila works on. Great people. It's a small group of folks that work to make sure that you have everything that you need, superior customer service, just excellence for the Career Force MN and for the Minnesota work sites. So that is a wonderful online tool. I highly encourage you to take those assessments. Oh, there's another kind of like a personality quiz that also does tells you information about your career. And I know most people have done Myers-Briggs, but there's another one. It's completely free. It's not where it starts out free, and then it asks for your email and then your credit card. It is called 16, so the number 16 personalities, plural.com. 16, the numbers, personalities, plural.com. I guess it's about 40 or 50 questions. I found that to be very valuable. It's very interesting what it says about you. I would recommend taking that when you are in a quiet place and there's not a lot of sound and movement around you, so that you can just quickly answer the questions, so you don't overanalyze and you don't have distractions. You can kind of get more of an authentic picture of who you are. Okay, so those online tools are so great. And then also, let's talk about my skills, my future. So this is the main screen for this site. And what you're going to do is you're going to enter in either your current or your past job. And it's going to come up. This is one of the things we were talking about earlier. It's going to come up with a list of occupations that require similar skills to what you currently have. And that's where it can help you to think about how to transfer your skills into something else. And then especially right now, there's so many changes with the economy, different dynamics globally. It's really important to research and kind of be able to forecast into the future the different industries that are doing well, the ones that are having growth, the ones that are having the layoffs and things are kind of shrinking, and how AI is really big, how it's impacting each industry. So I think it's really crucial to look at where have I been in my current position, what have I done, and is this something that I can carry over, or do I need to transition into something new? And finding those skills that transition into the different occupations. This is the type of site that can help you with that. So let's look at job stats. So the state of Minnesota has a data tool for job seekers. So it's a job skills transfer assessment tool. And that's, again, what we've been talking about, being able to explore different occupations in different areas of your expertise, of where you specialize. So on this part right here, when we're looking, the part that has been expanded, so we clicked on the little plus to open up the options. It's the business and financial operations occupation. This is really wonderful because, again, it lists the different types of, you could go into an accountant's, there's assessors, auditors, it gives you ideas. This is just a little snapshot to kind of show you how to navigate that. And let's talk about how we're going to prepare. How do we prepare for the job search, for our job hunt? So we want to understand the importance, oh, this is so key, the importance of being organized. What I liked to do, and even now with my job every day, even though things are so much on the computer and there's Teams and Word and OneNote, I still have a notepad, and like a spiral notepad, and I put the date at the top. And then there's certain things that I just keep record of and I jot down that I need to go back and move around. When you're doing your job search, I highly recommend, it is crucial, whether you are a person that it's easier for you to write it down, um, or so I know people that love Excel. There's a lot of people that create Excel spreadsheets to be able to, what did you accomplish today? Who did you contact? What's their name, their phone number, their title, their email, maybe a brief description of what you discussed. Did they send you a lead? Did you leave a message for somebody? When do you need to follow back? Also, with the different types of jobs, which jobs did you apply for? And then to be able to, a lot of times you can go on even through your phone and maybe put a reminder to do a follow-up to check back in with those individuals. So it's really crucial. However you organize, you need to make it personal to yourself where you are comfortable, but to be able to notate who you're contacting, what information you're finding, and to be able to follow up. And then even it could be, today is Tuesday. You could think to yourself, gosh, who did I talk to last Thursday? And you can just go back to your notes. It's really crucial to help keep you organized. I highly, highly recommend that that you set yourself up for success with being able to document and keep a record in whatever format works best for you. So with getting organized, let's talk about managing your schedule. You want to balance your job search activities. So an example of that, that is in the morning, let's say, okay, that's where you want to hop up. You want to take the shower. You don't want to have that greasy day because then it makes you feel not your best. But take a shower, get cleaned up. Put your hair back. Put on, maybe not, the sweatshirt and the long pants. Put on something that makes you feel more professional. Not necessarily a suit, but just dress business casual, comfortable. And then because that gets your body and your mind in the right state of mind so that you can project how you're feeling. So get up at a decent time, have your, hydrate, have your water, your coffee, juice, whatever, have a little snack. Go ahead and map out your day. In the morning, are you going to spend time looking at different jobs? And then maybe you start from 9 till 11, you're going to review different jobs and look at what's available. And then maybe you take a lunch break from 11 to noon. And then from maybe 1 to 3, you're going to do research on the different companies. And then from 3 to 4, you're going to reach out to individuals and then carry that over to the following day. You need to go ahead and maybe the next day, you're going to apply for these different jobs. You need to make time to get in touch with your career force individual, your representative that's going to help customize your resume and give you those helpful tips. Really, really important to be able to kind of structure yourself and have a schedule, because then that'll keep you on task instead of just kind of wavering all over the place. And then that's also where if you're writing things down or keeping some sort of log, then you know what you've done and what you've accomplished, and you can remember little areas that you need to go back and high points you need to hit. And then set goals. Sometimes people say, oh, I have to sign up or apply for 5 jobs a day. Really? Are those 5 jobs that would really be something that you qualify for, or that you feel passionate about, where you'd be able to go every day? Make sure you're applying for, you don't want to be so particular that you're and unrealistic that you're minimalizing what you're reaching out and applying for, but you also don't just want to throw spaghetti at the wall. You want to apply for things that align with your values and your skills and that would help elevate your future. And then just remember to stay on track, to stay focused. Take the time to get up and just to get out for a little bit to the fresh air. Right now, the fresh air is really hot. But take the time to just to step away and have a moment. Go play with your dog. Go say hello to the neighbor. Just to get out and then to come back so you can take those breaks. And schedule time to have fellowship with people around you. Or even just to get out and to bake something, go do something nice for a neighbor, go rake some leaves, just get your head out of the small space of the job searching, because you'll just kind of ruminate, and that's not always healthy. So then it's also, we talked about, it's important to keep the records, stay organized. And then also, do you have everything that you need when, so here's an example. Let's say you wanted to go to a coffee shop, or you just wanted to get out of your home environment just to have a different space. Do you have everything you need? You taking your laptop with you? Do you have do you have a pen and paper? Do you have a charger? Do you have the charger for your phone? So make sure you have all of the essentials to be able to be successful when you walk out the door to do your job search. Oh, and also, so for those of you that do not have a laptop or computer at home, or maybe it's just kind of having some technical difficulties, maybe your internet's not very strong, your local career force, they have computer labs. I would always recommend calling before you go, because I don't believe all of them are open 5 days a week, but you're welcome to use the career labs. It's completely free for your job searching if you need to fax anything. And also your local libraries, especially those smaller, more rural communities, a lot of them, they have computers that you're able to use. And there are some of the libraries, you of course have to call and ask. Some libraries allow you to be able to check out, like you check out a book, to be able to check out a laptop, or even um, the the internet pack. Oh, what's it called from I can't think of what it's called. But so reach out if you need help with the computer and the internet capacity. Ask your local library, and then always know that there's their career force. They have computers that they'd be happy for you to use. I'd call before you go. Um, so let's also, okay, get organized. Oh, I hit the wrong button. There we go. Okay, so SMART goals. Here's another acronym for us. Acronyms can be fun. So SMART, that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. Okay, so we're going to talk about specific first. So what exactly do you want to do? This is the resume portion. And again, if you were to sit down and talk to 5 different people and ask them to review your resume, you're going to receive 5 different answers. That's just honest truth. But it's important. Again, I would recommend that you get in touch with your local career force, that you sign up for that one-on-one job search. There's also resume classes online. There's previous resume videos that are phenomenal to be able to help shape your resume and to make it an outline, whether it's a chronological or it's functional. So I highly encourage you to have someone that it's their job, it's their profession, their skill set, someone with career force take a look at it. Because you may think you're doing great and you might just need a little bit of tweaking. And then especially for folks that haven't had to apply for a job, because you used to, even a few years ago, you could just walk in and almost have a conversation with somebody, or be referred to somebody and get a job, or just fill out a paper application. But things have changed. So specifically, you want to look at exactly what do you want to do, and to have that resume ready, but be able to customize the resume per job that you're applying for. It's huge. The measurable aspect of SMART. So how will you know you're on track to complete your goals? So this is part of having the measurable part, having your resume and sitting down with somebody. Just going and connecting and meeting with someone, whether it's one of the career force counselors. It could be someone that sometimes local churches and local areas have people that you can get together with. I know some folks that have been in layoffs, that their previous employers had set up ways for them to have career coaching. Career Force is absolutely available to you. Just reach out. We're happy to give you different avenues to connect, but you need to have a measurable way for you to be able to track those goals. And that's where you can also talk to the career force counselor to be able to say, okay, I have my resume. This is my first step to be able to set goals of the different job searches you're going to do. the different types of outreach, whether you're going to go to different companies, whether you're going to see about volunteering, whether you're going to go ahead and attend a job club or networking event, have those measurable goals to be able to achieve those, because each time you have a moment of success with making something happen, then that helps you to feel good inside, because when you're not at work, you don't have those day-to-day tasks. So this is one of those ways to kind of boost your feeling of value, because you're contributing and you're achieving your goals. Achievable. There we go. Good transition. So what resources will help you complete your goal? Okay, there we are. Everything circles back to the career force. I'm telling you, once you connect with the right person, once you make that that introduction and you meet with somebody that can really just say the right thing to help give you that boost and that reassurance, and to help engage you again with your own value and worth, it's immeasurable. So I highly encourage you to, again, contact your local career force, go and sign up for the different opportunities to be able to connect online or in person. And that's where you want to be able to say, hey, I need some help with my career assessment. I need to know about the programs you have available. There are so many programs. Majority of them are completely free. Programs where you could, we have the dislocated worker program. That's one where you could still have your UI. You could still receive your UI benefits, but the state would pay for you to be able to go and pursue a professional certification, a professional license. Maybe you want to jump into a different trade. Maybe you just need to upskill a little bit. You'd like to learn some additional computer skills. We have had an individual that needed the next step up for their boiler's license, had somebody that needed to learn SQL. There's so many different avenues to be able to elevate you, because the state wants to see you succeed. We want to see you happy and thriving, and we want to see you just living your best life. And there's so many resources and programs that until you reach out and say, hey, can you talk to me about this? You won't know. So it can be intimidating to take that first step, especially because you have all these other things going on, just to really make that next move. But I highly encourage you to reach out. And then also, that's again another opportunity for you to make that personal connection with somebody, because you never know who knows somebody else. And it's wonderful. And it's also that fellowship, because we need that human interaction. And then what about relevant? So why is this goal important in your job search? So this is again the importance of having an example of that would be like having your resume customized and tailored. Is your resume relevant for the job you're applying for? You can't send out, you used to be able to send out just a general resume or a general cover letter, not anymore. Things needs to be relevant, your skills to what they're asking for. And this is interesting. So several years ago, you could send out a resume that had all of your bells and whistles, all of your accolades, everything that went above and beyond what the actual qualifications were. But nowadays, as strange as this sounds, you really have to, if the job asks for 5 years experience, but you have 15, do not put 15, put the 5 plus. And if they ask for a specific amount of certifications, and if you have those, list those. If you have additional, do not list those. The reason for that, I know it sounds crazy, because years ago you could list everything that you had accomplished and what would make you an amazing candidate, and people would interview you and say, wow, and they foresee the future and how you could provide value, and they loved that initiative that you had, and that you could just take the ball and run with it. But now they want you to be within these parameters, and it's almost like you need to be able to get into the job. When you have the interview, you need to be able to read the room. You need to be able to pay attention to what they're saying, how they're phrasing the position. And even if you have skills that are above that, if that's a position that you could do, even though it might not be at the level you'd like for it to be, but you do see potential to promote. You really do have to present yourself with that particular skill set and not toot your horn about everything else you can do, or even just to casually share, because nowadays it's turning into people want to hire individuals that are just going to mirror the job. And it's kind of seen, if you really share and kind of tout your other skills, that it might be kind of intimidating or a turnoff because you're overqualified. And that used to not be, but that's kind of where we are today. So, and also you want to keep your resume like between like 7 to 10 years. And for people that have had the same job for 30 years, that can be a challenge, and we can help you walk through that. And that's kind of the benefit of connecting with someone from the career force, because this is our profession and we do stay up to date with things. And again, we want to see you succeed and thrive. Timely. When will you complete your goals? Have a specific date. Things happen. Of course, I know that sometimes, I don't know, there could be a family issue or there could be an illness, but it is better to say, okay, today is Tuesday. By Friday, I'm going to have reached out to my local career force and I'm going to make an appointment to connect with somebody, and I'm going to sign up for another class. And then by Friday, you can have that accomplished. You feel good about yourself. It's about setting the goals that are realistic for you to accomplish, because you're not in that normal routine. And it's the small things of setting the goals to be able to find the job, to be able to set yourself up for success, that helps validate you while you're in this journey of no structure. And the structure helps the goal setting and the achievement. So that is smart. And then I'm ready, Sheila. What you got?
Good. We got a couple questions for you, Jack. So you were mentioning about leaving things off your resume. So someone's asking if the job requires a bachelor's degree, but you have a master's, that you shouldn't put down the master's.
That's that's a really good question. And I think, again, I think if you asked 5 people, they'd all have a different opinion. I honestly, with the trends, with the way things are going, I believe I would only put a bachelor's. And the I know. And the reason for that is and I don't know why, but it seems like if people have greater skills, greater knowledge, if you have that higher achievement, sometimes kind of the environment is that people are intimidated by it. They see that as an overqualification, even though it should be a benefit to them, to the company, to what you can do and provide. I wouldn't list it. I wouldn't list it. Yeah,
Okay.
and,
And
and
one
then
more.
yeah, and then if it came up, and if you went into that position and then you were doing well and growing and developing, and you got past your probationary period where you could advance, and maybe the next thing you wanted to do required a master's, then that's when you could say, oh, by the way, yes,
Okay. And then one more question for you.
yes, ma'am.
How much does having to take the bus or public transportation to work affect you getting hired?
Oh, that's a really great question. So there have been times in my life when I've had to rely on public transportation, and it's really great when you live somewhere where the transportation is available. So I think that it depends on what type of job it is. Of course, if you have a job that requires some sort of delivery, like where you're delivering things, or if you are needing to come and go to different meetings and things, that may not be the best. But if it's just like a regular in the office at your location and then go home at the end of the day, I think as long as you can have an awareness of the bus schedule and maybe even be able to take maybe the time, jump on the bus a little bit early to be able to arrive early, just to make sure you get in a good pattern. I can't imagine that that would be a problem. If it's a position where you don't have to have transportation throughout the day, I don't think it would be a problem. I would just make sure you know the schedule, and you know the alternate routes, and that you're prepared for that. And some employers, I believe that they provide bus passes and whatnot, but that I don't think that would be a problem at all. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sheila. Okay, so what should I research? So this is a really good question. Um, and okay, let's talk about, I want to talk about Indeed for a second. So when you are job searching, there's all these different sites. There's, of course, please do go ahead and register for the Minnesota Works um, .net. And the thing that I want to tell you, like Indeed and the third-party search engines, I want to make sure I say this correctly. So Indeed is a third-party search engine, so they are able to reach out onto the web and grab the job listings and postings, just like you and I can find them. They also have contracts with different companies to be able to post the jobs, and they are paid by the number of clicks and the number of folks that actually apply. Okay, so anytime you see a job posted on Indeed or any of the other third-party search engines, I highly encourage you to go directly to that company's website if the name's listed. If the name is not listed, I would not apply. But go to that company's website and look on their hiring HR page, careers page. Make sure that job is active and viable, and apply through the actual company. And the reason why I say that is even during my job search, a lot of times the jobs are still posted that have closed, 1, 2, 3 weeks prior, because they'll Indeed will have a contract. And then even if the job closes, they still make money on the number of clicks, the number of people that are applying. So please do not waste your time by just sending off your resume to everybody and applying for everything on Indeed or any type of third-party search engine. It's so important. Um, Also, so that's part of the research. Go to the company, check it out, and then let's say you find a company that you're interested in. Yes, the job is viable and it's there. Yay, that's one accomplishment. Something I love to do. So you can, of course, you can type in the company's name and then reviews after that, or employee reviews. And then there's so many different links that'll show you employee feedback, maybe feedback from customers. And something that I love to do is it's fabulous, is I'll go, like my search engine I like, Google. So I'll go to Google and I'll type in, for example, LinkedIn, and you don't have to have a LinkedIn account to do this, but I'll type in LinkedIn jobs with, and I'll put the different type of skill that I have, something that I do well, or LinkedIn and a past job title that I've done, or something that I've looked up that's synonymous to a title that I'd had previously, because remember, they're changing up the verbiages there. And what's so fabulous is when you Google the LinkedIn, whether it's the company or it's the job titles, and it'll take you there. You can go on to LinkedIn. You can look up, of course, the company's profile, but go look at their people. Look at their employees. Look at what their job history is. What type of education do they have? What type of certifications and licensures? Where have they worked? What are the different job titles at that organization? That's a wealth of knowledge, because, again, the jargon, the verbiages have changed for the different types of job titles, but also we're finding that there are these certifications and trainings that we're not familiar with, because there's new things that are evolving. And so it's fascinating. And also, I think that a lot of times people you just want to send a message and connect. Absolutely connect with people. But don't forget that you can just jot down the person's name and then their title. You could do an old-fashioned call the phone tree, call that company, type in their spelling of their name, and just call somebody. Just literally call them, and you can just say, "Hey, unconventional. I know that you have a couple of jobs posted," or, "Hey, I saw your profile on LinkedIn. I really love to work there. Do you have a second to talk with me?" They could say no and hang up on you, but they could also say yes. And what if you reached out to a hiring manager or an HR person from a company, and it is unconventional, but what if you reached out and you spoke to them, and that particular job that you were looking at, the person in the position previously, what if they didn't have take enough initiative? What if they weren't personable? What if there's all these what ifs, and you call and you make that connection that might get you in the door. So I just think, I think going and looking at LinkedIn and looking at profiles, looking at people's histories and just kind of branching off. And then you look at someone's work history, and then there's another name of a company or two that you hadn't even thought of. Or you could look at the different people, look at their past job titles. Well, maybe you could move into something similar. So I think that's, oh, I love that. That's one of my favorite things. And that also is where you want to have your notepad, whatever, your Excel spreadsheet, whatever you need to do to record and document so that you can go back and connect. I love that so much. And then there's also, well, okay. So in January of this year, the state did pass a law that says that companies are supposed to, when they post a job, they're supposed to put the salary range. That's not being done across the board. So I encourage people to look up and to research what the salary range is. Oh, and there's oh no, which website is it? It's on the list of something iTool. It's on the list of links we're going to send you where it shows the different types of salary ranges. It's fabulous. So you can reach out and I will get that to you if that's something that you're inquiring about. And I need to remind myself also. And then, oh, we're also going to send you labor market information. That's fantastic. What about HR policies? Is there something that's really important to you? So I can share this. I think that, so do you need to work for a company? And I say need because all companies are supposed to have DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion. But sometimes not all companies really embrace that and provide it. So if there's something that you need an accommodation for, or something that's really important to you, you might want to do some research on the companies and make sure kind of what their compliances are and what's going on to really see if that's going to be a good place for you, because you can look at reviews and see things, and I know, like for myself, I know that the job that I moved to Minnesota for wasn't able to kind of do the things that I needed, and it was really disheartening. And so you want to make sure that you are going to an organization that hopefully will be able to follow all the rules and to be able to have everything that you need to accommodate and to care for you, and to help elevate you so that you're not in that glass ceiling and that you can be your best self. So yeah, I would research anything and everything you can, things that are important to you, because all the tools are there for you to find that. Absolutely. Oh, where should I? There's Sheila. I'm ready.
Yeah, Jack, I was just letting you know that it's 10:59. So,
Okay.
yeah, so we have a few slides left if people want to hang on for a little bit, to get through the rest of them. It's going to probably go over 11.
Okay, so I'll just do this one slide and then we'll do questions and then you can reach out if you need me. Okay, so where should I do research? Well, we just discussed that. So the company websites, there's the LinkedIn, the career. I think we pretty much covered that. Oh, people used to do business cards. There will be a link that will send you if you go to a networking event and you want to have a business card, you absolutely could invest in something like that. I think more so it's done just people hop on their phone and shoot out a LinkedIn or a phone number. There's business cards. Oh, your portfolio. This is so important. When you go to a job interview, this is huge. When you go to a job interview, please take you can just have a notebook, you can have a folder, whatever. Please take at least 5 copies of your resume, take your cover letter, have that with you, have at least 1 copy of your references, because I have heard of people going to interviews and for some reason their computer systems were shut down and they didn't have copies of the person's resume. You need to show that you're prepared. Also, please, when you go in for any type of a meeting or whatnot, have some sort of a notepad so you can take notes. I know a lot of people take notes in their phone, but not everybody sees the phone as taking notes, even if you tell them. So it just shows that you're more interested and you're taking initiative. And please don't be on your phone, even in the lobby when you're waiting. Um, References, if you have people before you list a reference, make sure that person's comfortable with you utilizing them. Make sure that person, that your experience working with them is applicable for the job that you're doing, that you're applying for, because they may not know anything about, if you're applying for a job working in childcare, but the past person worked with you answering phones and customer service and never saw you with any children, that's not going to correlate. So make sure that it's applicable, that it mirrors the job. Make sure the person says it's okay. It's really important to ask their permission. And then, oh, okay, so this is just a wrap up of everything that we had discussed. And then, okay, any questions? I'm sorry, I kind of was over exuberant and just kind of kept going. Any questions or thoughts?
Jack, there were a couple about, again, about, when to include your education or years of experience. And I just encouraged them to participate in the resume workshop that's coming up. They go over all
Yes.
that information in there. And Jack, are you familiar with employers asking you for like a 2-minute video explaining why you want the position and why they should hire you before
Yes.
you've even had an interview?
So yes, and let me also, so not, if you have questions about your resume, any type of questions, not only can you sign up for a resume class and whatnot, but don't, or go into your local career force. But remember, you can sign up for that one-on-one job search. That's so amazing. So please do that. Yes, let's talk about the video interviews. That is becoming more common. Not only is it okay, we're going to, sometimes people don't even give you a platform. They just say, please send us a video why the platform is, why you'd want to work here and how you're qualified. And then you send it in and you may never hear back from them. But yes, I hear about that happening all the time. When I was interviewing, I had many interviews that were strictly over the computer. It was an AI. It was just a digital figure asking me questions. It gave me a countdown. I had like 10 seconds to think about it, and then I had to respond. That is kind of becoming common. So again, AI is really jumping in and taking over things. And then it does feel impersonal. And it does, to me, it feels kind of judgy, because what if, they're looking at me? Do I look the way they want me to look? But then am I presenting correctly? And you have that one little window. I don't like that, but it is more common. And it's just something you might need to take your cell phone and just do like mock videos with yourself. Make sure and if you do have to do a video like that, make sure you have the computer, your phone, whatever, in a stable position so it's not moving. Please never, ever do one of those videos in your bedroom. You shouldn't have your headboard or dresser or things behind you. Be in the living room. And then you can also put, like, my background is blurred. You can blur your background. But practice. If you have to do something like that, it's kind of becoming a norm. Just practice on your phone. Just make little videos, and then you can. I used to kind of like you can just kind of like walk around the house to have movement, to practice how you would introduce yourself, what your skills are, to be more comfortable with your verbiage, so that when you sit down with people, you know how to put the information out there. And then even Google the different types of questions. But yes, okay. Oh yes, blackout. Perfect. Well, I appreciate everybody. I'm sorry I went over. You are welcome to reach out to send me a blurb. I'd be happy to help you. I highly encourage you to reach out to your local career force. But also remember, you are in charge of your destiny. There are things happening all around us, but we control, discipline your thoughts, discipline what you allow to come into your energy, and just manifest the goodness and just keep moving forward, because the right thing is going to come. I know it. It absolutely is. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much.